Are you prepared? Hurricane preparedness for 2021. Welcome to the 2021 virtual hurricane preparedness meeting. I'd like to thank you for taking the time and joining us to getting prepared for the upcoming season. During our discussion today, I'm going to talk to you about how to prepare for a hurricane. Now is the time to prepare. I'm going to discuss during a hurricane how to survive, and after the storm, how to be safe. Hurricane season is less than a month away. It officially starts on June 1st and ends on November 30th. Based on current weather data, as well as long-range climate clues, the forecasters are urging residents in traditional hurricane-prone areas of the United States to make their preparations now. The 2020 Atlantic hurricane season was like no other. Not only did it produce 30 named storms, the most on record, but the United States suffered 12 direct strikes, smashing the previous record of 9 back in 1916. Forecasters had to turn to a rarely used Greek alphabet for only the second time in history to name tropical systems. The forecasters are also predicting another busy year, but a little less hectic than 2020's nonstop season. This year, they're predicting 16 to 20 named storms. 7 to 10 of those will become a hurricane. Out of those hurricanes, 3 to 5 will be a major hurricane, category 3 and higher. Out of the potential 16 to 20 named storms, the United States could see a direct impact of 3 to 5 this year. As stated, preparation starts now. If you wait until a system is in the Gulf, you are already behind. We have to make sure that we stay informed. We have to get plugged in to our local community social media platforms, whether that be through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Prepare Bel Air. We have to stay alert to our media, local news forecasters, Channel 2, 13, 11, the radio, variety of radio stations. And we can also receive updates and alerts via NOAA Weather Radar radio. Plan to evacuate and shelter in place needs to be determined now what you're going to do. Are you going to leave on a Category 1 storm, or are you going to wait until it becomes a major hurricane before you decide to evacuate? Determine if you and your family will evacuate or plan to stay at home, and at what time frame, and what are you going to take? Things to think about to prepare if you evacuate. Where will you go? Your potential route. How much fuel you have. What time will you leave? The items that you'll take with you. Is it pet friendly? Don't forget about your important documents. Copies of your homeowner's insurance, your vehicle insurance, your medical insurance, Social Security information, birth certificates. Don't forget medical documents such as your medical history, list of medications, any advance directives or DNRs. We cannot forget our pets, the necessities that we need for them. Are we going to room and board them, or are we going to locate a pet-friendly location? These are items that we need to think about if we decide to evacuate, and we need to think about it now. Yes, we may not see an impact from a storm until September at the height of the season, but you just never know. We need to make sure that we update our emergency contact information, our AKA, our emergency plan. Who can we communicate with? Who do we need to call? What family members do we need to make sure we stay in touch? Not only if we evacuate, who can we call back in the city to check on things, to check on each other, to check on our neighbors, to check on other families? If we decide to shelter in place, making sure we have plenty of food, water, clothing, portable chargers for electronic devices, plenty of batteries if we were to lose electricity. And think about in preparation, not just for a day or two, but 3 to 7 days could be a minimum. We have to think about long term. I don't want to bring up the winter storm of 2021, but we saw how long, what 3 to 5 days of without electricity, how it impacted our area. Imagine if a storm came into the city of Bel Air and impacted the electrical grid through knocking out power lines, power poles, where it takes a little bit longer, like we saw during Hurricane Ike, where it took 2 to 3 weeks before electricity was restored. What would we do then? How would we maintain a livelihood as far as our family? How would we survive? These are the questions that you need to ask yourself now and be prepared to answer and start preparing today. Some tips for preparing your home for a pre-storm situation. If we know a storm is in the Gulf and coming our way, the first thing you want to make sure you do is secure all loose articles outside. This will minimize any type of opportunity for those pieces of equipment to become flying objects. Think about the exterior of your structure and your yard. Look at it as a whole. The other thing too, when it comes to the exterior of your structure, is you want to take pictures of your house before the storm arrives, so you're able to compare it to after the storm. This will help out with your insurance situation as well. You want to board up your windows, trim your trees, upkeep your fence pickets. All of this will help minimize potential damage to not only your property, but your neighbors as well. If you decide to leave your residence, you want to make sure you secure it. And we highly recommend that you notify the Bel Air Police Department, letting them know that you are leaving for the storm so they can put on extra patrol and we can have a running list as to who is in the city and who is not in the event we have to do any type of rescues or emergency type of evacuation. We encourage you to make sure your address is visible as well, whether your numbers are on your house, whether they're on the curb. We ask that they are visible from the roadway. When the fire department and police department respond, we go by the numbers in order to locate the correct residence. If we can't see them because they're covered up with shrubbery, they have fallen off, or they're missing, then it makes our job a little bit more difficult. But if your numbers are visible, it makes things a whole lot easier. If you decide to go, have your to-go bag ready. You want to make sure you decide what route you're going to choose, and keep an eye on your fuel. As we can all remember during Hurricane Rita, the freeways were a gridlock. Fuel was hard to come by and even hard to find. It wasn't until you got out of the metropolitan area before fuel became a resource that could be utilized. If you stay, be familiar with the house. Understand and know the operations of your breakers. Understand and know the operations of your doors. Make sure your windows are able to open, and make sure everybody in the family knows how to operate both. Advise your neighbors that you're staying, so that way you can check on one another, have some accountability. Have a backup plan in case you need to evacuate if you do decide to stay. You never know exactly what the storm will bring until it gets here. After the storm, we want you to be safe. The number one priority is to keep yourself and your family as safe as possible. We want you to check your house, both internally and externally, for any type of damage or hazards that may exist. When going outside, we want you to be cautious of the dangers. Do not wade in floodwaters unless you absolutely have to in order to survive. Do not use any electrical equipment if it is wet or you are standing in water. We want you to stay healthy. We want you to throw out any food that has not been maintained at the appropriate temperature. Avoid drinking any tap water until you know it is safe. Clean and disinfect everything that gets wet. Hurricane cleanup can be tricky, but if done right, it can keep you and your family safe. Some tips for hurricane cleanup. If you get water inside your house, we recommend that you air out your property. We move out any property that is saturated with water. Tear out any of the flooring, wall material, insulation, and electrical outlets as long as the power is off. Clean out any additional items and disinfect it if they're wet. And dry out your residence and your articles the best that you possibly can. After a storm, we encourage you to go out and do a damage assessment of your property. Remember to keep safety in mind when doing this. During your damage assessment, we encourage you to take pictures, videos, and document as much as possible. This will give you some post-storm information in conjunction with the pre-storm pictures and information that you took to be able to provide to your insurance carrier so they can see the pre and post of your residence. The City of Bel Air will have resources available between the utilization of a variety of departments to help you out, along with utilizing our website and our social media platforms. We will utilize everything that we possibly can, but again, these resources will be available based upon the current situation. Your insurance agent will be a vital piece of resource as well. You can contact them, find out exactly what they need from you so you can gather that information and get that to them as soon as possible. Some additional resources that will be available will be local churches, the American Red Cross. The city might look at establishing extra support centers as needed and if available. You might need an alternate location to stay as well. So obviously, depending on damage that you come across, having a backup plan for an extensive period of time may be something you want to think about pre-storm as well. The city will be communicating information to you in a variety of ways. It is our goal to be able to collect and push out the necessary information that is needed to keep you informed. As a city staff, we are continuously monitoring all of our social media platforms. We utilize our website, our Facebook page, our Twitter account, Nextdoor Bel Air, Notify Me. We'll even post information on city facilities and even go door to door as needed. The City of Bel Air has also started utilizing a mass notification system, Preparedness Bel Air. We utilize this system to push out emergency notifications as they are needed. We encourage you to check out our website at www.belairtx.gov for additional information on how to sign up for these notifications. You can also find out information through readyharris.org as well from what the county is doing in preparation, along with detailed information as storms are arriving or even post-storm type information. The City of Bel Air also has an emergency management number. During an activation, if you have a non-emergency type question or incident, we recommend that you call at 713-662-8206. But during an emergency situation, just like any normal situation, if you have an emergency, we recommend that you dial 911. Our dispatch center and our emergency management team will be prepared to answer as many questions as possible or be able to provide you with the necessary information that you are needing. We ask you to continue to utilize our social media platforms, but understand that if you don't see the information there, please give us a call at either on our non-emergency line or on our emergency line to get the information that you need. Before a storm, we understand there are going to be individuals within our city who are going to need assistance. So the state of Texas has created a special needs, what they call a STEER program. Anyone with a disability that would need assistance during an incident such as a hurricane is encouraged to register. So how can you register and when? You can register today by calling 211. When you dial 211, you will get a live operator that will get you registered and get the information that is necessary. During a storm event, during an activation, when we need this type of information, the state will send us all the individuals that have registered for the STEER program. So we will have that information and we will conduct follow-up calls to check on you before the storm, during the storm, and even after the storm. Why is this important? It is us being accountable to our citizens, but also to be able to provide a service or potentially obtain specific resources to be able to assist you. Just like we encourage you to prepare your house, your family, we as a city staff are doing the same thing. We have to make sure that our staff members are prepared themselves. This includes taking care of their family in the same way as we encourage you to take care of your family. We also have to take care of our homes as well. Each city facility has a specific checklist in which it works through to prepare for a storm. Our development services are communicating with builders to help make sure that the sites are cleaned up to help prevent from having any loose building materials. Public Works patrols the streets and cleaning of drains, streets, and postpones city services as needed. Our city staff is continuously training. Our emergency management team conducts tabletop exercises, along with staff members in attending specific training to assist the city in each phase of the emergency management model. During this time, we're constantly building a relationship. We have to build a relationship in order to stay strong as a city and as a community. Today is an example of one of those relationships. By us providing you this information, we are working on maintaining a strong relationship with you. Another example would be our relationship with CenterPoint Energy. We constantly are in communication with them, whether it be via email or through our meetings that we have. This just allows us to understand their angle and approach when it comes to restoring electricity or their needs, and they understand our needs as well. As a city, we are just one of many jurisdictions that are out there. But this relationship has assisted us in a variety of areas from a response to a recovery. The city also is working on a plan to better track our volunteers and the amount of hours that they have contributed. We're looking for volunteers to assist in a variety of areas as we speak. We utilized volunteers during Hurricane Harvey, and let me tell you, the time that was spent was valuable. They helped out in so many different ways. If you're interested in volunteering, we encourage you to contact the city and inquire how to sign up. When it comes to donations, this is another area that our volunteers can be a big asset to the city. After Hurricane Harvey, we received a large number of donations. Each donation that is received, we have to track, but at the same time, we receive donations that can be turned around and given to someone else in the city to assist them during a time of need. We have many resources available. Through our high water response fleet to city staff, we are here for you. Public Works has dump trucks that allow us to be able to continue to get out. If there's a resource that we don't have available, we can reach out to our county, our region, or even our state for assets. I encourage you as you continue to prepare for the hurricane season. If at any time you have any questions, please visit our website at www.bellairtx.gov or give us a call at 713-662-8206. Be safe and stay alert. Have a blessed day.